Odessa Kellman, you are a personal trainer in Philadelphia, PA. You do personal training in person and you also do virtual personal training. You've been AAAI certified for a while. What caused you to want to become a personal trainer and how did your journey begin?
Originally, I was a group fitness instructor. I still do group fitness, but it's not as much as I do personal training. But at that time, I was working at a particular facility, and mentor slash friend came up to me, and he was telling me how I'm this beautiful box, right, with all this potential, and all I need is somebody to just pull that string once, and all the potential, and all the possibility that I have within me is going to become possible to share, right? It's going to become more accessible. So when he told me that, I was so nervous. I was like, but what if no one wants to train with me one on one? Everyone loves me in the group setting, which is kind of ironic because I know a lot of people prefer one on one than group. So I decided to take a faith and I allowed that one ribbon to get pulled. And it was like, okay, now you have to get certified. At that time, I didn't know anything truly about certification beyond Les Mills because that's where I originally like stepped into group fitness, right? So my mentor slash friend at that time told me, you need to go to AAAI to get your cert. And at that time, I had walked away from my corporate job and now I'm like probably 3 years in as an entrepreneur and I'm not making much money. That's the struggle days that no one talks about. And I'm like, I only have $175 that just hit my bank account. How much is this gonna cost me? So I took $100 from that and I went ahead and I traveled over a couple of hours to go get my cert. And I sat there in that class and I was just like, I don't know what's on the end, right? What's at the end of this, but with faith, because someone saw something in me, I should also have faith in myself. I took my certification test. I passed that same day. I went back and I'm like, I'm ready to do it. And from there is where everything started. And the passion for helping people one on one bloomed bigger than it was for groups fitness, right? So with group fitness, it's just everyone comes together. And for me, it's like a party, right? But with one on one, like someone is feeling comfortable enough to tell me their personal like goals and struggle. And like when I lost my family members due to lack of like proper nutrition, a proper understanding of fitness, I didn't want anyone else that stepped in front of me to have to experience that. So I kind of made that a part of my why, where it's like I'm gonna pour into someone the way that I wish I was capable of doing that to my family member if I had more set knowledge at that time. That's why I became a personal trainer because someone saw it in me and then I continued doing it because I added a powerful why to it and there's a purpose driven behind it. And then I created the training business called OK Training, which basically literally stands for if you fall down, it's okay. If you slip up, it's okay. If you put on weight, it's okay. If you get too small, it's okay. Everything is okay. But what's never okay is for you to always remain the same. It's never okay. So OK Training is we understand but then we're going to get this work done.
That's great. And it's also your initials too, which is very convenient.
Yes, it's also my initial as well too. Yes. Someone said that to me today. They're like, I just realized your initial is okay. I'm like, yeah, it's okay.
As a personal trainer, do you specialize in any specific groups, athletes, women, etc.?
So when I started off, I was more gearing like weight loss. So I would consider myself a weight loss specialist. So I know to get someone to lose weight, but as they losing weight, to make sure that they sustain proper muscle recovery and also bone as well too. So with weight training, that's another specialty too, is to help with their bone density. So I specialize in that as well. And then I just recently, maybe 2 years ago, added bodybuilding into my specialty. I just had my first competitor. I think she was like 2 years ago, did her first show and she won overall. So yeah, those are like my realm of specialty. So weight loss, strength training, and bodybuilding as well too.
That's
Women's
fantastic.
wellness. Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
outstanding. Very cool.
Thank you.
You mentioned that you had lost some family members due to not exercising and not eating well enough, and that's quite challenging.
Yeah.
Have you faced any other challenges in your career? And if yes, how have you overcome them?
I have experienced challenge with, I call it growing pain. And it's called failing forward. So I've had experience a lot of failures in this business, right? From understanding how to put together a proper contract to understanding what POS system to use, going through the process of not having the POS system where I'm losing profit, right? Going through the process of not knowing how to put together contracts. If somebody walked away, that was it. There was nothing legally binding us together to say, like, this is evidence I could submit that this person didn't complete their agreement for a 6 months or a year contract. So those are a few. And then with clientels too, have had some setbacks as well too, which is not everyone wants to talk about, the truth of why they're doing what they're doing. And not everyone wants to be forced to share that information, and having to learn that it's all about building a relationship with that person to help create that space of safety for them to be willing to share with you. So those are a few hiccups. So like on the clerical side, contract, POS system. And then on the people to people side, it's just understanding that you got to give someone the opportunity to want to share with you. They have to be willing to say, okay, this is the real reason why I'm here with you. Because everyone comes with a surface reason.
I think that's a great things to bring up. So having trust between the client and trainer, I think is really important because many people are not going to share information. And normally in classes I teach, I say, what I tell people is when people ask me that is this, it's in the lockbox, it's in the vault. It's never going to get discussed outside of our conversations, our private conversations. No one's ever going to see your health history questionnaire. It's in a
Yeah,
locked filing cabinet, etc. I think that's a powerful thing as a tool that's not often discussed. So I'm glad you brought that up.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, I feel like it is something that should be taught. I know, like, when you go through this, like, I have multiple certification as well, too, right? But, like, when you go through the curriculum, it talks about understanding the person's why, but it doesn't really break down understanding like, respecting the person's privacy. And I feel like because I worked in healthcare and sports medicine, I understand HIPAA, right? But the biggest thing is that knowing that I'm a person too, right? I want my life. Fitness is the most selfish thing you can do, but it's also the most sensitive thing possible because we all have things that we are working on, that areas we don't like. We all have rooted truths. So I feel like it's so important. It's so important. In order for you to go far with it and get quality clients that want to come back to you, you gotta have that space of like
Mm,
safety and respect. Yeah.
I agree. I want to circle back for a moment. You also discussed your challenges with paperwork and point of sale service. How did you overcome them? And did you consult an attorney for your contract and waiver, et cetera? How did you overcome that?
So remember, I'm very big on failing forward. So you learn, right? So when the situation happened with the whole not having the contract in order, not having the payment system set up, I consulted my mentor. And my mentor is who set me up for success by letting me know that all payments collected on the first of the month, right?
Hmm.
And then when that was the first set of foundation, and then moving forward, I consulted an attorney. Like, I reached out and I said, hey, how do I combat this? And it was like, you don't have a contract. And then it was just like, okay, put together a contract. I put together a contract, and some of the contracts weren't that great.
Right.
Then I kept trial and error making up another one. It's like, okay, now you have to have what you're offering them. So like the foundation of what I received from my mentor, but then it's like you have to make it more solid. Put how much, how many months, how much they owe, what, stuff like that. But that came from trial and error. I consult my mentor. Having a mentor is so important. And as long as you have the mentor, utilize their service as much as possible, respect their time. And
Hmm.
then eventually you have to be the person, you have to become the teacher, right? So you have to learn. So you could pay it forward, because with OK Training, the vision is to eventually have other people working on the brand. So I have to fail forward in order to like know how to help them, fail forward as well too, but not the same thing, right? And even if it does happen, because we know how to overcome it, we are able to fix it a little faster. So now it's like you don't have to go through the attorney process. You already know what was missing from your contract. Let's tweak that.
How did you find your mentor?
I walked into the space. So the mentor that I had walked into his facility, and they had just opened up and didn't like me for nothing. Said I had a personality of a credit card. He said I had a personality of a credit card, and he has to bend me to get some type of emotion from me. But I knew I had a passion and a love for fitness. So when I started there, my classes were zero for 6 months.
Mm,
But I had this dire belief in myself, like, I'm going to make this happen. Like, I have to keep going at it one day, one day. I would show up ready, set up the class, zero. maybe one,
Wow.
zero, maybe two, zero, 6 months straight. And I mean, I'm on the schedule almost every day. So I feel like from him just watching my relentless mindset, right, that I had, allow him to be willing to pour into me. So that's how it happens. Sometimes your mentor will show up when you show up. And I felt like that's how the relationship was cultivated. Like now you're my friend, you're my mentor. And because of that experience, I will never dilute it. It helped me a lot to understand this space that I'm in.
Did your
Yeah.
mentor give you any specific advice on how to grow your class from zero, one, or two to a lot more people?
No, not, like verbally, no. Action, right? Because at that time, his vision was to build his platform up. So for me, I'm originally from South America. So for me, seeing another foreigner like really feet to the pedal, foot to the gas, and just kept going no matter what came his way, inspired me. So I became
Mm.
inspired, right? And because I became inspired and I looked up to the person, it was like, well, I'm doing this for me, but at the same time, I kind of want to prove that, like, I can be like you, relentless and whatnot. So that's sometimes it's not action. Sometimes it's not something that's like spoken to you. It's just action. It's another form of sign language. Just watch, and they see you too. So that's how that relationship happened. And yeah, I was never really given any verbal. But once I became a trainer, right, we had mastermind classes that we did. And that was something that was extremely helpful. I was like the top performer.
Outstanding. I'm really glad the fact that your mentor did master classes. I think that's great.
Yeah, it was something that I always say you should never stop. Anyone that has the opportunity to work with them, they're lucky, especially when it comes to like bringing them into this space of entrepreneurship. And I'm just here to just pay it forward. So I meet people that are also interested in stepping into this space, and I get a chance to mentor them the way that I received mentorship, right? Because my mentor, he didn't cradle me. He told me what I needed. He gave me the fundamental, the basic, the 1, 2, 3. I had to go ahead and figure out all the rest of numbers and apply it. So they're going to give you something, right? There's a story about how something about the seed. One got one seed, one got two seed, one got three seed, and then he left them. And then when he came back, he asked them like, "What did you do with the seed? The seeds are an example of your gift." One said that, "Oh, here's the seed you give to me. I saved it. I kept it safe and protected it from anyone like touching it." And it was just like, okay. Then the other one was like, "Oh, I did this with it." And then the other one was like, "Well, I did this and this and this, and I made it multiply." So I got a little bit of the 1, 2, 3, and I just exit.
Your analogy is better than mine. You took your analogy from the Bible. I was thinking more. Yeah,
I was like, wait, where did that fable come from? Okay.
yeah. Now you got it from the Bible. You know that. And but I was thinking your mentor essentially didn't give you a fish. He taught you how to fish.
Yes,
So
exactly.
yeah,
Beautiful.
very good. How do you
Yeah.
stay educated today?
Oh my God, I'm constantly learning.
Yeah.
Constantly. Like, you gotta remember, like 2 years ago, what's obtainable through social media and the internet wasn't before. So there's always something evolving. There's always a change in technique. So it's like it's either you're with it or you're not, right? So
Mhm.
when you're dealing with someone that's older, you can't train them the same way you can train someone who's 21, someone who's 18, right? I'm always learning
Mhm.
continuously. I put myself in places and spaces with people who are better than me, right? In the sense of like they know more than I know. Because if I'm the only one in the room that knows a lot, then I'm in the wrong room. Yeah, I'm in the wrong room. Exactly. So always, I will partner with different fitness facilities in the city because there's always some new program. They have a scientific background in how to get people to their fitness. I want to learn it. Teach me. You know what I mean? I get the
Right.
basic, the squats, the deadlift, the barbell, the kettlebell, like, but what else is there more to? Because training is so much more than just movement. It's so much more
Right.
than just movement. Get to where I was at is that I started here. What really started me to allow me to see a difference, like turning zero
Mhm.
into something was AAAI. Like that's just it.
Cool.
People think like you have to go get that big, bright, popular name certification. Nothing wrong with that, right?
Right.
But it's not about the cert. It's about the application. Like, how do you apply it? Can you apply what's in the textbook to the floor? And I even create a workshop called Form and Technique. We learn about it, But then we get into the shop, we get into the gym, we get on the floor, we get into the lab. That's the part. But that always grateful because that was my first ever certification.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
And that's under the Sweat Off Fitness and Recovery brand. And they come into our event and they love the energy, they love the feel, and they're like, hey, Odessa, I want to be a trainer too. I
Yeah.
send them to AAAI. And then it's like, okay, now you got it. Let's get one client, let's get them a result so I can make you believe in what you already have inside of you. That's it.
How do you keep your own clients motivated?
By showing up, by showing
Okay.
up every single day for them and for myself. I've learned and I've seen myself like go through different seasons because as trainers, we go through stuff in life. So it's like you might come into a training session and you just walked out from your house. It's like the most distress or summer relationship is falling apart. But someone is waiting for you when you stepped into that space that sees you as their escape.
Yeah.
So when you can put aside your emotions, right, and you focus on theirs, it allows them to say, okay, this person really cares about me. And then at times they're going to ask you, like, how do you overcome things, right? You share transparency. It's hard sometimes, but I understand that at the end of the day, there's a bigger vision. That's why it's okay. It's okay that I'm feeling this way, but I'm not going to stay here. And that's how I motivate my clients by one, showing up for them, showing up for myself, and then just listening. People
Yeah.
just want people just want you to listen. Like
Yeah.
I've had clients that were going through their status as potentially borderline diabetic. It infuriated them because they experienced someone in their family passing away from diabetes. That happened in my family, right? High cholesterol, someone who's overweight, they can't see like their private parts. Like these are things that are important because before OK Training welcomed everyone, I was an all female training business. So it was like, how do I show up for these women? Like at that time, I'm like 26, 27. They're like 35, 40, 50s. How do you show up for them? How do you motivate them? People just want to know that you care.
Right.
People just want to know that you're going to listen to them. That 30 to 45 minutes, that is all about you. And then eventually
Right.
they become my friends. That's the part. I'd be like, we can't be friends yet. I got to wait till 6 months is over.
Yeah.
Because I was like, we need to be able to talk to each other and understand each other and then let you still understand, like, I'm here for you as your trainer. You cannot slack on your nutrition plan and not show up for your training session. But that's
Right.
how I keep my client motivated. I care about them. I care about the people that I work with. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because if I didn't care about them, they wouldn't want to be with me. You know what
Right.
I mean? I want to know, how are your kids? You had a doctor appointment. How did it turn out? Oh, I heard you weren't feeling good yesterday. What happened? Are you good? You know what I mean? Like, oh, my back hurt. Okay, how come? How did your back hurt? What happened? Did you fall? Did you hit it? Like, they like things like that. Sometimes they don't feel comfortable in the beginning, but eventually they do,
Right.
But keeping it transparent, Joe, you have some clients that just, no matter what you do, they might not stick around. And that's something that they're going through on their own, and they have to have that growing pain and that personal development. So when they return to you, now they're ready to receive you. So there is a there's a beautiful side to it, but there's also the truth side to it where not everybody's going to welcome you that way. No matter how nice you are, no matter how respectful you are, you know what I mean? It just happens. It's people. Yeah.
It's an interesting point of view that I think is worth mentioning. A lot of personal trainers, when they lose a client, they basically think, oh, what did I do wrong? And it's quite possible you didn't do anything wrong. It's just that they're going through something that you're maybe not aware of, and they may come back in the future. I've seen the same thing happen in my own life where
Yeah.
I've had somebody I've worked with for a while and it went away. And then, 2, 3, 4 years later, it comes back.
Hmm.
So don't always think, it's you. It may not be you. It probably is not you. It may be just they're dealing with something in their own lives right now. Maybe they're not ready to become healthier and exercise on a regular basis, perhaps. Who knows? Maybe it's a financial decision. We don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's a really, really good point. And along those same lines, what are one thing that you think personal trainers should be aware of that maybe they're not aware of?
One thing personal trainers should be aware of that they're not aware of is that you're running a business. And when I say that, how you carry yourself is an example of your business, how you show up. What is your hygiene like? You're running a business. The same way if you had a 9 to 5 in corporate America, you make sure your hair is right, your outfit is pressed, everything. It's the same way you show up when you're independent. You don't show up with a mixed match shirt, mixed match leggings. It doesn't have to be name brand. It could be your brand. Like I'm wearing my brand in the back of my shirt, no matter where I go. I'm a trainer. Do you know what I mean? Presentation is everything. Because you work for yourself doesn't mean that you slack. You are your walk-in advertisement. You're the marketing person. You're everything. You're the PR person. It was like, okay, I want to attract a certain clientele, right? In order for me to do that, I said, okay, Odessa, what about you have to change, right? I'm like, okay, I can't always wear these bright hot colors. I used to be bright orange, bright green. It was loud. It was like I'm a Zumba instructor. No offense to Zumba instructors. But it was just like, I want to be taken serious in this space. I want when I'm sitting in front of someone and I'm making a business decision, because when you have someone in front of you and you're telling dollars for results, right? You got to remember they work hard for that money. So as you're talking to them, they're looking at everything to say, okay, this person I can work with. Presentation is everything. Hygiene is everything. Fix the hair, make sure their eyebrows are right. This sounds silly, but make sure your clothes match. It's press. You know what I mean? Black leggings go a long way. Black shorts go a long way, right? We don't want to have short shorts. This is for my ladies, right, Joe? I hope I can say this. Don't cut this out. This one is for my ladies. When you're a personal trainer running your own business, I understand that the client is seeing your quads, but they don't have to see your cheekies hanging out, right? They don't have to see your stomach exposed all the time, because in this moment, that's your business. But when you're by yourself, like you're just working out on your own one-on-one, yeah, go on, put on the cheeky shorts, put on the crop, put on all of that. But you want to remember that someone's in front of you that might feel insecure about something on their body. And even though they came to you for inspiration because of how you're posting on your platform, when you're training them, you don't want them to feel like when they leave, you don't want them to go home and look in the mirror to be like, damn, this is not like this, or they're questioning how they look. And no, present yourself. Present yourself. Even with the fellas, like same thing. Like, yes, fellas are, guys are looking at you, bicep charts, like it's amazing. But if you have it, even when you wear a long sleeve shirt in the wintertime or a short sleeve, whatever you want, they can still see your physique with the t-shirt and the nice clean dress. Like I have one trainer that I work with Sweat Off, and he's always clean. Always. The sneakers match, the leggings, the sweatpants match, the shirt is very nicely fit on his body, but you can look at him and be like, you know what, that man is serious about what he's doing. So yeah, presentation.
It's
I went
it,
on the rant, Joe.
no, no, no. That your rant is great. I think it's really, I think it's wonderful. You're right. You are running a business, and I like the fact you've got your business on your clothing. You are your own walking billboard. I think that's genius. And I would also say that it's interesting that some people have told me in the past. That especially women, and it's only women has brought this up, that they would not work with a personal trainer because they did not feel they could attain that six pack abs or whatever they're looking to get. That I found very interesting. It was almost like a reversal. It's like, ooh, I don't feel like I can do that. So I don't know. It just something that occurred to me as you were bringing that up. So yeah, they don't need to see your cheeks and all that stuff. It's not OnlyFans. We're not advertising that. I'm gonna Last question. What advice would you give someone who's watching us right now who's thinking about becoming a personal trainer?
Um, so I'm gonna give an unbiased advice, and then I'll give a biased one at the end, because that's gonna be like a little ping. If you're thinking about becoming a personal trainer and you don't have the funds to, right? You don't have the funds, you don't have the time, right? So some certification program takes 6 months to a year to obtain. With AAAI, you're looking at what, a day, 2 days, 3 days, depending on what cert you're going for. Pilates, I think, is like 3 days or 2 days. Yoga, I think, is like 2 days. So each cert has different timeline for you to obtain it. If you're trying to change your life by just like changing your income goal, you might just want to make an extra $500 a month, right? And you feel like personal training is a way for you to obtain it, do it, right? Do it. But as you're thinking about the financial goal, because that's okay, also think about, when I'm doing this, what's my why? In order for you to be successful in this field, you have to care. and not care for selfish reason, to care for external, like I want this person to win, I want this person to feel appreciated, like I can't wait to change lives. Like I've changed over 1,000 people's lives. Like I'm 35 and I could say that, right? That's what you're going for. I want to change people's life. And then when you go ahead, get your certification, you can choose to be independent. Independent personal training is that you work for yourself. You can find a gym that's local to you, go up to them and say, hey, do you welcome independent trainers to your facilities? And most of the time they're going to say yes, or they might say no, right? And all they're going to say is like, okay, I need an exchange, rent for usage of the space. And that allows you to take nothing to something. And then if you want to go the commercial route too, you can. There are a lot of corporate gym that do accept AAAI. I'm gonna say this right off the bat. It's not gonna be easy in the sense of if you don't take the time to apply the knowledge, like you have the book skills, but I'm talking about like, what you call it, the physical skills or the hands-on skills, right? If you don't have that, it's going to make it so much challenging. And my best advice for you is before you have them do it, go try it. Create that program and you take yourself through that entire program before you give it to them. So you know how the sets, how the reps should feel. You want to have time on attention. You want not like learn the language. Another advice for someone too is YouTube University. There's also Udemy too, right? And that gives you continuous education. So for anyone that's looking to step into this and become a personal trainer, your first step, get your certification, AAAI. The next step is make sure you understand a strong why, because your clients are not going to come right away. And sometimes you might have to give away one or two free session or say, hey, I need someone to do a 30-day results with. Who wants to do this with me? And you just do that. And now here's my very biased response. If you would like to be a personal trainer, come see me for Sweat Out Fitness and Recovery. Come experience one of our workout, whether it's Sweat and Bloom or Sweat Out Fitness and Recovery, which is more of a HIIT style workout. And afterwards, talk to me. You know what I mean? I'm in this space where I want as many people who wants this opportunity to experience what I experience, as someone that I came to the US, I went to college. So even if you have a college degree and you're changing your mind, that's totally fine. I have a certification in clinical assistant. I did that route. I worked in corporate America. I work in healthcare. But I would tell you, I made more money as personal trainer than I did as a clinical medical assistant at that time. And that's like over 10 years, right? So I'm just trying to create possibility. Is it possible? Yes. Is it guarantee? No. You got to work for it
Like anything else, you got to work for it.
like anything else. People don't feel like they have to work too hard in their 9 to 5. They just have to show up and press buttons. It's so crazy because they said when you work a traditional job in corporate America, but you work for like the first 2, 3 hours, and then the rest of the day is just busy work.
I've
With
heard that.
personal training, no, it's continuous. I still have to prospect. I got to prospect. But that's my advice for anyone that wants to step into this space. Go get your certification. Don't make it complicated on yourself. And if you want to later on say, okay, I'll go get certified by another company, another organization, then go ahead, right? That's your choice. But just know that you're the sauce. You're the reason why your program works so well because you choose to continue educating yourself and you choose to apply it to yourself and work on yourself and show up and fit your brand, not because of the certification.
Kelman, this has been a great conversation. I really appreciate your time.
You're welcome.